I'm Elizabeth Henson. Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where I'm helping creative dreamers and overachievers tackle business and life. After 6 years of being my own boss, I finally unraveled a tiny bit of what it takes to survive in this amazing world of being an overly creative entrepreneur. I'm your business bestie, here to help you with all those big ideas and to normalize some of the day-to-day struggles that we all share. My mission is simple. I want more women to make a living doing what they love and to feel good about themselves in the process. The best way to start? We can't do it alone. So welcome. I hope you'll hang out with me here where it's totally okay to be messy. Hello and welcome. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here again with me. So today I'm going to be talking about something really interesting that I'm calling becoming a people magnet. This whole concept of becoming that person that people gravitate to and want more of. How do we become that, right? Like, you know those people in your life that you constantly leave a conversation or time with them and you're like, I want more. They make me better, stronger, smarter, all the things. Or maybe it's an influencer that you follow on social media. So I'm going to dig into that in just a minute. But first, I want to share a little behind the scenes with you because I told you guys that I am a part of James Wedmore's Next Level coaching program, which is amazing. And this year of 2019 is so filled with transformation for me in the best way possible. And I have the perfect example for you guys of this and how it's all going down. So I've launched my beta program for the Shine the Light Society. We will be opening the doors to everyone else very soon, so stay tuned. But right now, I am digging in this program that I've created with 30 women, and it really is trial and error. Like, I know my overall vision and what I'm helping them with and what this space is like, but to create a membership from scratch that really is going to stand out among the rest is very difficult, right? Because it means that I am trying things that have never been done before. So let me tell you a little bit about my teaching moment, my lesson from week 1. So I did not give them very much to go on their first collaboration. I basically was like, here's how this is going to look. Here's what we're going to do. Go find your person and go collaborate. But I didn't give them a ton of meaty content as far as our core values or why we're doing this or any of that, because I needed to see them just try. And when I started getting the feedback forms back from them, it was not good. Like, the collaborations were not good. Like, people were just like giving horrible feedback on how their collaborations went. And of course, like, the first couple ones I was reading, I was like, oh man, here we go. Like, I'm going to change my mind again. I'm not going to follow through with this idea. It's too hard. Like, all the feelings of self-doubt like flooded in. I knew that wasn't really going to happen, but of course the feelings were there. So I took some time and I listened to James Wedmore's podcast, episode 222, that he had assigned us for homework in the coaching program. And I just got realigned, and I realized that, every failure, like on paper, every failure is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to learn and to grow. And this was the perfect example of that. Like, Liz, you did this on purpose. Like, you set them up for failure on purpose so that you could learn from it and create content. So that's exactly what I did. And I created a PowerPoint presentation with some of our core values and, how relationships can help grow our business and how relationships can uplevel our business. And I just went through slide by slide some of my core values and what this is all going to look like. And I gave them a little tough love and, what their expectations needed to be for themselves. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that when I get into the becoming a people magnet stuff. But I all of a sudden had so much clarity on exactly where I wanted to go because I asked myself, what went wrong? Why did it go wrong? Because I didn't lay the expectations out there. I didn't give them the kick in the pants motivation that I needed to give them. That's my job. If I'm going to host this space for people, it is my job to keep them at their highest achievement motivation level to the best of my abilities, right? Like, we cannot become attached to outcomes, but we need to lay the foundation and give them every opportunity for success. So I did the PowerPoint presentation, and I can already tell that week 2 is just going so much better. They had so much clarity, so many aha moments. They were definitely thanking me. And I'm sure they were kind of rolling their eyes at the same time, but that's how we grow and get better. And I'm learning that from the best of the best this year, because James has no problem with people being uncomfortable. He has no problem sitting and just waiting while you figure it out. And there's certainly so much tough love that goes on in that higher level coaching. And it feels so good to be able to do that for my community as well. Of course, with love, of course. But anyway, that's just a little behind the scenes peek at these little moments that I am truly growing and stepping into the person that I want to be, for lack of a better way of putting it. Slowly evolving into someone who has a successful membership program, and it's so exciting. All right, so let's dig in a little bit to becoming a people magnet. What the heck am I talking about? So how do we leave people always wanting more? One of my major pillars in building community is this whole concept of becoming a people magnet. How do we get people to gravitate to us? And of course, there's always going to be people that don't. There's always going to be people that are extremely repelled by us, and it's fine. But the more we step into our belief system and our core values in a major way, the more we are going to attract the people that we want to. So the first thing that I want you to do is to think about the people that are in your life who leave you wanting more. What are some of those qualities that they have? Or the influencers who, like, you never miss their post or their podcast or their blog or whatever it might be. What actual qualities is it that just keeps you coming back? I would love for you to articulate that, because I know that that's a hard thing to put into words, right? You say, okay, I know they're a leader, they're a role model, they're positive, but like, what are the actual traits? And I just think that that's helpful to write down, because it's going to know what kind of energy that you are attracted to. I think it looks different for everyone else. And this concept that I'm going to talk to you guys about is actually not that, but I just think that it's important. I think it's important for us to know what keeps us coming back. So keep those in your back pocket. But now I want you to think about the simple act of like seeing people. We are so busy, and society now is even worse with the way that we're like totally focused our attention on our phones and constantly just so focused on ourselves. We are so selfish nowadays. And I mean that in the best way possible, of course. But we all want to feel seen and heard, right? And I've talked about this over and over on the podcast, we all want to feel seen and heard. So how can we be the person that makes other people feel seen and heard? Because I bet you those people that you admire, that you keep coming to, even if they don't actually see you or hear you, for some reason you're feeling welcome in that space. You're feeling welcome in that space to be who you are. So how can we be that? How can we be people's safe place where they feel like someone sees me? If you can unlock the ability to do that, people will always come back to you. Okay, so if we can become the person that wants to hear other people's stories rather than just fighting our way to tell our story, but if we become a place where they get to tell their story, your turn will come. Right? Because what you're doing is you're building someone's trust. Every time they get to open up to you about something that is part of who they are or what they're trying to do in the world, you're building trust. And the more people trust you, the more they're going to want to be around you. And the most common pushback that I get on this is, well, I did what you told me to, and I kept asking them questions about them, but they never asked questions about me. So that means that our alignment is a little off, and all of a sudden we're focused on the result, or we're focused on what we're getting out of it. We're not truly seeing them 100% for the right reason if we're only seeing them to get our turn, right? So forget about your turn. Your turn will come if you do this with 100% like intention and meaning, and you actually see them. So what I've encouraged some of the girls to do that are suffering from that they never asked me syndrome, like making that up as I go, is that you need to be your own advocate. And there are ways to follow up with people. So what if you said, oh man, Sally, we dug so deep into our conversation last time that I forgot to tell you about my big project. And I know that you are the guru on blank. I would love your opinion on blank. So now you've actually shared with them a little bit about what you're working on, which is important, right? But you have recognized their skills. You've stroked their ego a little bit, and you've let them know that you value their opinion. That is gold. That is gold to make people feel that way, and now they really trust you. So that's totally going to keep them coming back. And in fact, this type of conversation has led people to turn around and physically give me their money because they want to be in my community, because they know that I see their value. And now you're starting to become a people magnet, and not only a people magnet, but people are giving you their money to be closer to you because you see them. And that, my friend, is completely priceless. Completely priceless. And that is something I didn't know was going to happen, but I reached out to a friend and I was like, I really like what you're doing and you're inspiring me. I'd love to have you come talk to my community, to my audience about this. Not only did her eyes light up, but she turned around and said, yeah, and in fact, I want to be a part of your community. And she signed up and she paid me money, all because I went through the simple act of recognizing what she was doing. And when someone thinks that you can get them a step closer to being seen by a wider range of people, that's completely priceless. And that is community. And that is being a people magnet. Actually caring about other people more than you care about sharing your own story is being a people magnet. So when people can see that you value them and their gifts, they will naturally gravitate to you. And it's magic. And I don't even know how I came up with all of this other than reading a lot of these crappy reviews on collaborations and then thinking about, okay, well, I've built a successful community. Let me think about how I did that. And it's hard. I had to really sit back and think about what went wrong over here, what went right over here, and how I can teach these other people to do what's been done on the other side of the table. I don't know if that made any sense, but we just get so busy with our day to day, and we're fighting ourselves and we're forgetting about the power of acknowledging others. And I've talked about this with the Shine the Light Challenge. Obviously, we're talking about this in the Shine the Light Society, but that is the fastest way to get people to notice you. So as we always do in the Shine the Light Challenge, think about 3 to 5 people that have been inspiring you that you haven't reached out to. How can you reach out to them and acknowledge them and acknowledge their gifts and let them know that you see them? And something might just come out of it. But you know what else? Something might not. And you need to be okay with just knowing that your words, that your kindness can make somebody's day better, and that doing something like that, helping someone or being kind or encouraging someone, that is a gift. And that is a gift that we should use every single day, because it will pay off and it will add up and it will change your core values into something that's really positive. So I hope that was helpful. If you enjoyed it, and if you want to dig a little bit deeper, I have actually created a downloadable Become a People Magnet worksheet. It's going to take you through everything that I just talked about, and you're going to have space to take some notes and do some brainstorming. It goes into a little bit more detail on some of the concepts that I talked about, and this is just one of my pillars on how to create a successful community, because I know that that's something that people have been wanting. They want to know how to build a successful community, and this is just one little piece of that. So you can find that if you go to the show notes at elizabethhensonphotos.com/26 or elizabethhensonphotos.com/podcast will also get you there. But let me know your thoughts. Was this transformational for you? And I want to hear how you get out there and become a people magnet. And it's hard. It is not going to happen overnight, friends. But if we put in a little bit of this work every day, maybe put it in your power sheets, do the worksheet, listen to the podcast again, and then, of course, come join us in the Shine the Light Society. We'd love to see you there. All right, guys, see you next week.